All right, guys, today we got a special guest in the house. We did an interview with him and his partner Pearl from Mesanjarz of Funk. A lot of you guys didn't know Debo was in a rap group before co-founding Queen of the Ring. This man created something legendary. I'm talking about the one and only Debo, aka DeVell McAfee.
Salute to everybody in the building. What's up? Panda, what's the word, man?
Yo, Debo, what's good with you, man?
We're going to be doing a lot of laughing in this interview, man. Man, salute to you, man, and everything you've been doing so far, man. It's been putting in a lot of work, man. I'm proud of you, man. You know what I'm saying? I consider you one of my homeboys and shit like that, man, and we got a lot of things going on in the near future. But go ahead. What's up, Panda? Talk to me.
I appreciate you, man. But why we gonna be laughing? Every interview that I see you've done, you real serious.
Right. Well, I'm a serious guy, Panda. I don't know what to really tell you, man. At the end of the day, it's probably the comfortability that I have with the people that I rock with and shit like that, man. And, you know, I see you on that level where, you know, you keep it 100, you ask the right questions, the real questions, man. You got a sense of humor, too, man. You make me laugh for some reason. I don't know why, but we here, man.
Key and ass.
Stop playing.
Oh, sorry.
Talk to me, brother.
All right, man. Well, during our last interview, you and I spoke about Fat Joe and Liza Rios lawsuit and how Cuban was initially upset with you because of your responses on the Uppercut podcast. On my podcast, you said you didn't know much about the lawsuit, and if you did, then you would be vocal about it. Well, some things have changed since then, so let's talk about it.
Yes. Number one, I heard Cuban say something about being neutral and shit like that. That boy know I'm not neutral, nor is my partner neutral. But I got to keep it 100, man. I did see some black and white. When I say black and white, I'm talking about that paperwork, man. And it's kind of crazy.
Before the paperwork, though, you saw that Real Life Productions interview, though, with Gongu Roach, right? That's what kind of sparked it.
Definitely. I was like, oh, for real? Like, this is what's happening? Now, we ain't going to act like I don't sit here and hear the rumors here and there, what people say about this person or that person or whatever, just anybody in particular in general. You know what I'm saying? Even including Joe. But with me, accusations are accusations. You understand? Assumptions are assumptions. I got to see it in black and white. I don't care who tells me what they tell me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take it for face value. All right, cool. I hear what you're saying, but I need to see it. And although it wasn't the contract per se, as far as Pun's contract, it was the court date and the transcript on how everything was ran down in that contract, which was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So me knowing a little bit more about the music business, hold on. Always got to plug this, man. This is a good book by Donald Passman, man. All you need to know about the music business. I read this several times and shit like that. So it gives me a little in-depth and understanding of what was going on when that guy named Gongu Roach, correct me if I'm wrong?
Gongu.
Gongu, I'll call him G Roach, right? When he was saying, you know, breaking everything down, I was like, nah, he has something there. He's not just like for play. He's not like BSing and stuff like that. I wouldn't see why he want to put all this to the forefront and just lie. You feel what I'm saying? So when I seen the transcript in black and white, I was like, yo, nah, this is bad. This is bad. You know, as far as the publishing deals, the splits, the cuts, even the candor of what was going on in the courtroom at that time. For those who don't know, when you have publishing, it's kind of awkward in a sense, but it's 100% writers and 100% publishers. So, you know, it's 200% in a sense. If you're a writer, meaning you wrote the song, you should get at least your 100% publishing. That's unless if somebody's writing that song with you. So you break that down to splits. You understand? So if you're not the sole creator of that song, somebody wrote the hook or somebody who gave you a melody of saying, say it this way and shit like that. And you're in agreements to be like, all right, yo, I'm going to give you 10% or I'm going to give you 25%. Oh, you wrote this part, I'm going to give you 5%. It could be broke down in splits like that. Now with the publishing, that 100% can be divvied up in multiple ways between the writer, the publisher, the record company, all types of things. So, you know, you really got to be mindful of how you give out your publishing and stuff, man. And, you know, It's not good, bro. At the end of the day, with the Jelly Bean dude and shit, I guess he was supposed to be the quote unquote caretaker, administrator of the publishing, which was supposed to go directly, I guess, to Pun's family and stuff like that, and it didn't appear that way. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If Joe was my man, saying he's supposed to be my man and stuff like that, make sure you're taking care of me. Make sure when I pass away, take care of not only myself, but my family as well. We're supposed to be quote unquote brothers. There shouldn't be no discrepancy or no mix up or anything to make sure I'm good, And unfortunately, let's take it even here. Joe said he giving money to Liza and the family and such in these increments and this amount, and that was debunked. You know what I'm saying? Not saying debunked by he say, she say, but by the court because they had to give up the what you call it the receipts and shit like that, and it didn't look good there either. So I'm not saying I'm here to shit on Joe, but what I am saying is I'm here for the facts, and the facts told what the facts was, and the facts wasn't considered a lie. You understand? So it's on your character on how you're being perceived due to facts, not assumptions. You understand what I'm saying, Panda?
Yeah. It's a weird situation, man, because it's rare that you see a situation where the publisher with, Jelly Bean Benitez, right? He collected his 25%. And instead of giving the percentage out to Pun's family directly, he gave the remaining amount to Joe. And it was Joe's responsibility to hand over, his a half to Pun's family. And like, if you read the court transcripts, they're dancing around over and over. Jelly Bean's lawyer is like saying, technically we're only legally binded to give Joe his amount. Like, we're not legally binded to give Pun anything. Pun has to look to Joe to receive his amount, basically, Pun's family.
Right.
And like the judge was even confused by that. They were like, wait, so even in the court transcripts, they're saying that even if Pun's family doesn't get their amount from Joe, they can't go to Jelly Bean and do anything to him, basically. He's not,
Right. Both was pointing fingers at each other. Pretty much that's what it was. Both was pointing fingers at each other on who was to administrate that publishing to Pun's wife and Pun,
right.
period. You understand what I'm saying? And being that my brother Pun, wasn't business 101 savvy, he was taken advantage of in certain aspects of that contract. And, who's to say if anything, because obviously, rest in peace, Pun is not here no more, so now, in between that time when Pun is not here and Liza not really knowing the business as well and whatnot, that could be taken advantage of in between those times. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Nobody knows nothing. I can hide this here. I can put this over there. Or I could do this and what, so all throughout that time, there was supposed to be a curation of finances allocated towards Liza and the family. And it looks like it wasn't. And that's very unfortunate. You understand what I'm saying? Because where he's saying, I gave her X amount of dollars, she's saying, I didn't receive a dime. And I'm over here in the shelter, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, and this, that, and the third. So I'm not here for the he say, she say, and the tea and all that. What I'm saying is what's obvious. The obvious thing is that that's your brother. Take care of your brother and take care of their family. Not saying out of your pocket if you can. If you don't have it out of your pocket, fine. But if it's supposed to be his money to be taken care of, give him his money, bro. Give him his money. Then you won't receive the backlash of your character being slandered. You know what I'm saying? Because you took care of business the right way. You understand what I'm saying?
And I think that's the problem is that people keep on saying like, what is he supposed to do? Take care of these people for the rest of his life? Nobody's saying that. People are just asking for what is rightfully theirs. If I was supposed to receive this X amount, right? Make sure I get that X amount. Don't we're not asking you to go into your own pockets and give money that, that we weren't supposed to get. Basically, that's how I feel that the whole, the way that people are looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously they discovered that it was like 2.3 million that was owed to Liza. It was supposed to be more than that, but they couldn't keep going back into the records. They didn't have all the statements. So that's crazy. The way that the situation happened was Jelly Bean was creating false documents, right? False royalty statements that was saying originally they only owed 80,000 left that was unrecouped in 2004. Then all of a sudden it jumped up to 400,000. So it's like, where did that even come from?
Now let's just say Jelly Bean was the accuser. He was actually the sole person that was fucking up the publishing and not allocating it towards Joe the correct way or what have you. And if I was Joe, I would have snapped Jelly Bean's neck. You understand what I'm saying? Because you fucking up not only my fucking reputation, but you fucking up the pockets of a person that passed away whom I love dearly. You understand what I'm saying? So Jelly Bean would have been hung upside down from a bridge to make sure that situation was correct on all fronts. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not taking the brunt of the BS off the fact of his misconduct.
But that's also the thing is that we know Joe's reputation, right? You going to tell me that he's going to allow somebody to steal from him and his dead brother and not do anything about it?
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
From a person that's who you are, because I know I wouldn't do it. Say, God forbid, one of my partners passed away and stuff like that, and we had some big checks coming and shit. I'm not going to mess that up. And then, you know what I'm saying, that not be allocated towards their children. It's not going to be on my conscience. I got to sleep at night, bro.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, all this boils down to the person, not just saying that of accountability, but the person, the moral standings of that person. If you're okay with this taking out of the pockets of a dead man, God rest his soul, then you some type of different type of nigga. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what your conscience is gonna tell you or what it needs to tell you. But when you look in that mirror, anybody, from man to woman, when you look in that mirror, you know who you are. You know what you did. Your conscience always runs down your faults, your misgrievances, your positive. It always runs it down in the blink of an eye. You understand what I'm saying? And then you got to go away from that mirror saying, I'm okay with that. I can sleep with that. I can live with that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So just because this, you know what I'm saying, and we're focused on obviously on Joe, but that goes on Jelly Bean as well. But that goes with anybody per se to say any man or woman, if you can live with that, then that's some kind of different evil. You understand? And your soul ain't gonna rest, man, because at the end of the day, there's a soul that's already up there in the heavens, hopefully in the heavens, you know what I'm saying, that there's a God, you know, we believe in, you know, that's looking down and being like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna allow this. My spirit is not gonna be, you know, it's not gonna be well if this continues on. And look at this. Look at the backlash and the I don't know if I would call it karma, but you know the saying, you know the cliche, everything that happens in the dark will come to light. Right? You know what I'm saying? So it's been ongoing for almost 20 years for that lady, which is Liza, to get her reparations as far as her due diligence in her husband's finances. She ain't divorced the two. They still married until he passed away and shit. You know what I'm saying? She has every right. That's his estate. That's her estate. You know, and no disrespect to nobody. No disrespect to Cuban, Joe, none of them. You know what I'm saying? Not even the kids, but let's be 100% honest. That's her husband. You know what I'm saying? She was the caretaker, the friend, the wife, the everything, all of above. She gets the right and the just due for everything that comes after Pun passed away. You understand? And I'm just glad on the conclusion level that she got something, which I hopefully feel like she was content with, to move on with her life, because that's traumatizing, bro. You know what I'm saying? God forbid, what if she went out a little bit ways before that judgment call was made? You know what I'm saying? What if she could have never recovered from the shelter thing, or just being poor, period?
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? That's bad,
crazy.
bro.
I mean,
I'm not having that on my conscience, Panda. I'm
yeah.
not.